Q97.1, your afternoon drive. My name is Danny Salas, as promised. Like I've been hyping up for the longest time. Special guest live in the studio, straight West Coastin'. We have got the dude, Glasses Malone, in the building. What's up, man?
Danny, man, I brought my homeboy Deeez Nutz from the LA Giants, one half. So I'm happy to be back out here, man. It's been a while.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Well, welcome back to the 559. I know you've been busy.
Yeah.
So I want to jump right into it, man. For those in the 559 that are in the know, they know that Glasses Malone has been around for a hot minute, man.
15th season as a pro in the professional league.
Son of a gun. And from day one, man, repping hard for the West Coast. How did it all come together for Glasses Malone in the beginning, man?
Just making a dope project. Shout out to my first producer, engineer Guido. Amazing producer. It was his time. He produced White Lightning, and the rest is history.
Man, and I wanted to bring up right off the bat, man. I mean, one of the most recognizable names, Glasses Malone, and for a while, one of the most recognizable images. But right now, in my studio, you ain't rocking the glasses anymore, man.
No, man. I took them off. They're in the car.
Man.
It's been a long journey this whole week, so I just came barefaced. It's like Clark Kent. I mean,
right?
When I put on my frames, I turn into Superman.
I had no idea it was even you, man. I said, who's this dude without the glasses, man?
I know, Billy Knight, man. I'm telling you, he's so to lose, man. He's been hungry, so I just had to talk to my partner to make sure you're all right.
All right, cool. Well, a little history lesson then for those not familiar with where Glasses Malone has been, man. Kind of right out the gate, you linked up, I want to say, with Mac 10 at the beginning, yeah?
Yep, started with Game.
Okay, yeah.
Right, Game in my platform. Shout out to Game and Big Face 100. Got a deal with Mac 10 and Cash Money Records.
Got it.
Together. And it's been a journey ever since. So I was a part of the documentary when Game sold 500,000. He went gold in the first week in 2005. I was a part of Carter 3, 2008 when Lil Wayne sold 1 million records. And I've been clicked up with TDE and pretty much helped and contributed to different things and watched Kendrick Lamar grow and become the biggest artist in hip hop.
Yeah, and you've literally done records with, man, all the heavy hitters, not just on the West Coast, but, man, all over the country, man. Your resume is quite impressive, I'm going to tell you that much.
Thank you, man. I work hard on it, but I'm most proud of the new album, Cancel Deeez Nutz.
Let's talk about it, man. Cancel Deeez Nutz.
I got rap royalty playing Ham Sons, LA Giants, that's Deuce Mac and Joey Westside. Produced by EP, Irvin Pope, we from Watts, both from the same town. He played on the first 4 or 5 Kanye West album, Grammys.
Okay.
Executive produced LAX for The Game. Produced Emeritus and different albums for Scarface.
All right.
Produced Tech Nine's latest singles and different things. So he's an amazing producer, and we clicked up to make Cancel Deeez Nutz to throw the world in a circle.
You know what? And while we're talking to your producer right now, we're talking to him talking about him in the studio. He's right here with us in the studio. You got to correct me because I heard that the beats on this album are ridiculous. By the way,
they are.
But I heard they weren't even intentionally for this album.
No,
they were for another project or maybe even another artist project.
So
right?
EP was working on some stuff for, I don't know if you want me to say the artist, but I'm gonna say it anyway because that's just who I am. He was working on music for RJ.
Okay.
And A&R came to him to make music for RJ. And at that time, RJ kind of got a little bit caught up and couldn't come over there and get the music. So I just came and stole them all. Let me get all them and brought them over here to us.
Yeah,
we appreciated them, and I thought we did them justice.
Right, and it's hard. And I mean, when you talk about the West Coast sound, what even is the West Coast sound in 2023? It's evolved so much, but this sounds like a West Coast record no matter how you hear it, how you look at it.
EP from Watts, he plays, he can play the elements. The LA Giants, play Ham Son, Penthouse Players, Click started Quick Career, Battle Cat, different people. So it's a bunch of West Coast, it's a real West Coast collaboration.
That's a beautiful thing. And I know at least one of those tracks, I want to say, so the LA on a Sunday, the one with the talk box, Sundays in LA, the one with the talk box. I'm like, man, you put a talk box on anything, that screams West Coast right there, man.
Yeah.
Right?
We went out our way to make sure we did a lot of Los Angeles things, for sure.
Yes, sir. And I want to say, man, one of the tracks on this album, I swear I could have sworn I heard it like maybe even a year ago, man. Kanye should have never married that. Man. Was that even intentionally supposed to be on this album, or is that just something you put out into just to kind of get the buzz?
No, it was for sure for this album, but I think when we put it out, we just wanted to test the waters kind of on the sound because it was like something different. Sometimes people ask me, were we inspired by older music from the West? And I don't know what to tell them because it's like the way EP plays, nobody played like that from home. So he can play in a way that, the piano, keys, better than anyone. So when we put it out there to test, it just tested. It was just resounding yeses and approvals.
Yeah. Well, I think it just all came together great because when you hear Glasses Malone, like we said, we've heard your name featured on so many records, mixtapes, but as far as full-length albums, man, it's few and far between, man. So in 2023, it's cool that we're getting a full-length from Glasses Malone.
Man, it's important. It's just time for it. I put in a lot of work. You know what I mean? I studied the game. I didn't just take advantage of it. I didn't try to milk it for every dime. And, bringing the LA Giants and making sure my man EP get his credit, it's just been a journey.
Well, we're talking about it, and you talk about hip-hop royalty. We got the son of Player Ham. You name drop Penthouse Players Click.
Yeah.
We got to talk about some of the artists that you came up with, that inspired you to do it. I mean, how did you even link up with each other?
We met each other.
Like, what was that, like
Bugsy, yep, his cousin. So that's 2004. We're on the radio. You can't use profanity. It's a real radio.
We got the beat button. Don't worry about it, man. Got the beat button. Got the 6-second delay.
We've been doing so much podcast that people talk crazy.
My cousin Bugsy, we met him and stuff when, before he started, before your deal.
Yeah.
Met him before the deal, and then him and my brother ended up, he was actually going to race cars or do something. And then him and my brother and my cousin Bugsy linked up, I think, like a few days later and recorded some music.
Yes, we did.
And then I think we've been tapped in like from a distance ever since.
Man.
And then after we put out Fly High, kind of rekindled the relationship, and then from there, bro, ever since then we've just been working.
Yeah.
Man, it fit, right? Like it
man,
fit.
was great is Kanye should have never married that chick, right? Yeah. You have Sugar Free, you know what I mean?
Sugar Free, the legend.
Player Ham's, sons, Joey Westside and Deuce Mac, the LA Giants. So it did feel like a Penthouse Players Click record. I never thought about that, but the feel of it is very hyper aggressive, so I like that.
As a side note, man, P.S. Play You Too. How dope was that song? Whoo. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Oh, man. We were talking, and kind of off the air, we were talking just in the studio about East Coast versus West Coast. And this is kind of just an aside for me. I told you I'm obviously a West Coast dude, but even back then, like I was even a Ruthless versus Death Row kind of dude.
Sure.
So like back then, anything Easy-E.
It was a real conversation.
Right? And we could have this conversation all day.
I've told Billy this a million times. It's impossible for us to be biased. Because if you grew up any time in our generation or even after the next generation, you grew up to East Coast music. You heard as much Biggie Smalls as you heard anybody else.
That's it.
So it's like we could never be biased towards any other music. We heard it all. We got Juvenile 400 Degrees.
Man.
We got Master P, Ghetto Dope. We got Nelly Country Grammar. Yeah. We heard Trick Daddy's, all the Thug albums.
Every region was represented, man. Yeah. That was a golden age.
So it could never be biased, Billy Knight. This is the thing about being a West Coast artist. We are truly blessed to have all the music from all regions.
We are blessed. We are blessed. Not just a melting pot. We're a salad bowl. We got everything.
We are literally the reason why hip hop is fantastic, because we hear it all.
See that? We got nods all in the building.
Shout
Everybody's
out to DJ
in agreement.
Billy Knight. You know what I mean? We've been on this promotional run, and at this point, he is hungry. We got to feed him. That's the thing about the people that work with you. You have to keep them fed, because they lose oxygen and get delusional, so we're going to take him to get some food.
It's very magnanimous of you. I can't just be the only one eating. Everybody has to eat.
We have to eat together. Or the people with you just start saying crazy, delusional things.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. I want to go back to this album. Not too many samples, but one recognizable sample, one recognizable voice. And again, we just talked about Biggie on the Loke. Yeah. And this one I actually played a couple weeks ago and a couple weeks in a row, just because a recognizable beat, recognizable little sample from Biggie.
Sure.
What I thought was dope, though, is that some artists, they'll sample a song and it's just sampled Biggie, whatever, Bad Boy 1997, but you actually give Biggie kind of credits on the track listing. That's kind of dope. Like you don't see artists doing that.
You know what's funny? It was some people look at it wrong, because I didn't use him as a primary artist. Like I used to make sure people know to keep his legacy alive out west.
That's it.
The style of the record is dope. EP, like even when he sent me the idea and it was so fast, and I didn't shy away from it. It was funny because it made me feel like Hammer or Quiet on the Set, NWA,
Right on, yep.
Ren, right?
That's it.
Different people just rapping at that tempo, rapping at that speed. So, and it was fun. I flexed it in one take too, the whole thing.
Damn, that one take Jake.
One take, the whole thing.
There it is. Well, so, and again, it's in 2023, things are weird, man. So even asking, hey, was that always going to be the first single? It kind of like, what's the first single these days, right? It's just like whatever works, right?
And it wasn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think E really tripped off of the song because it was so many great records. And even us. I think the only person who thought it would be a really great record is Joey Westside. Joey Westside kept saying, which is Deuce Max, the other half of the LA Giants.
Got
Deuce
it.
Max's brother. He was saying this right here is going to be the reason. He thought it the whole time. He's like, this song right here is going to be the reason.
Well, I guess it really doesn't matter as long as you got eyes and ears on the project, right? That's what it's all about. One thing I wanted to talk to you about, too, speaking of on the subject of samples, and this goes back many, many, many years. I think I don't even remember, probably 2011, the track you had with Ty Dolla $ign, and you sample Warren G's.
2012, 2013. 2013 officially.
Man, how was that? 10 years ago, man. That's
fast,
crazy.
Right?
That's crazy.
That's right when we just started learning about records. Shout out to DJ Head. Head produced that. That was his first beat.
Wow.
So shout out to DJ Head. And I was starting to learn about hip-hop, and I realized how important the DJ was the cornerstone of hip-hop. And I had invested all his energy and time into turning Head into a DJ. And now he's DJ Head, and he's rocking all the parties, and everybody is like, man, DJ Head is the best in the mix. And when he taught me BPMs, and I started doing my homework, and I was like, oh, you're supposed to make my record for me.
Right, that's it.
And he was like, well, I never made a beat. And shout out to my team at the time, Rated TG, Jim Nays, my homeboy Peru. And they gave him a platform and showed him, like, look, we'll work it. Just tell us what you want. And DJ Head produced my first gold record, that's his first beat.
Wow. First beat, first gold record.
Feel me?
That's crazy.
And it was no cash money. Shout out to Baby and Mac and everybody. It's no shade. It's just when I dedicated myself to what hip-hop was about, it produced and it yielded great results.
Man, that's a success story, man. That's what you want. And this kind of sounds like one of those stories that isn't true. I don't think it is. But on the subject of sampling, did Warren G kind of just give you the blessing, you know what? Use it. And no money exchange
for it. And wouldn't let me give him a percentage.
How does that even happen, man? Like that's
Warren is an awesome dude. His birthday was last week. Happy birthday, OG. He's just an awesome dude. I've been trying to get over there to write some stuff with him, write some stuff for him, and he's just a really good dude. And we don't celebrate that guy enough, you know what I mean? Because his contributions, he's the reason we have Death Row. Like, people don't get it. If he doesn't introduce Snoop to Dre and keep pushing him to Dre. Because remember, Dre, there's times Dre didn't even want to deal with him.
Yeah.
Ironically, right, being a Ruthless fan,
Here we go.
He was going to be signed to Above the Law.
I heard that too.
And that's a real story they told me. So
actually, I think we had Big Hutch in the studio a couple years back, and I think he told that story too. I think he was talking about that too.
So again, shout out to Warren because he's the reason we have The Chronic. He's the reason we have Doggy Style. Without it, who knows what those records be? And obviously, Hutch would have did amazing because it's Hutch, and I could afford to hear Snoop on Black Superman a million times.
Man, classic.
You know what I mean? But
classic.
Warren doesn't really get the credit he deserves. So shout out to the OG Warren G.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't say underrated, but definitely underappreciated, probably under-celebrated, right? Because that whole generation, I mean, they to sound cliche, they changed the game. They invented the game.
It's the renaissance in art. Ironically, we were just talking about funk and how what they did revolutionized funk and hip hop. So it was truly a renaissance in all the arts.
Man, and they invented something else. I'm talking about LA Giants and Penthouse Players Click and Play a Ham, like that whole G-Funk sound. I mean, man, G-Funk got thrown around. The term G-Funk got thrown around a while, but man, that is when it was created. That was the birth, the whole mid-90s. And
you know what's crazy? We were having a dope conversation, and it's dope because you can join in and you vested in it. Tonight becomes the first way we see G-Funk. You know what I mean? Because,
that's real.
So Don't Fight the Feeling, right? And then the way Quick played around on Tonight, like he played with the sample. That became how G-Funk was conducted.
And we also learned that you need to clear all your samples before you put it on wax.
You will be broke.
That is the most expensive DJ Quick record he ever put out.
But changed his life. You know what I mean? Because they do complain. They be like, oh, Glass, I don't want to use no sample.
Right?
Yeah, five platinum albums later, sure, I bet you don't.
Worth it. It was worth it. I'll write that check all day.
Shout out to Clear for allowing it to happen because they could have stopped it. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I know you got limited time, but I definitely want to, again, hype up the album, man. It's called, and got to talk about the meaning behind Cancel Deeez Nutz. What nuts you talking about canceling, man?
Man, they can't cancel ours. It's California. We going to say what we want to say. We going to live the way we want to live, and we going to make sure we check the game the way we should.
There it
is. And
there's
nothing nobody can do. The only thing they could cancel is Deeez Nutz.
There it is. And I just want to applaud you, too, because, again, this is a bona fide certified album. This isn't just an 8-track, 7-track EP. No. This is a full album.
And it's plugged in at every end. The LA Giants on 8 or 9 of the songs. EP produced the whole thing. We didn't try to find multiple producers. If we thought we wanted somebody's feel, we'll have Battle Cat come in on Fed Up and scratch some ideas, but we let one person carry the load, and it paid dividends. And we've been selling, we sold 1,000 so far from the cripstore.com. People are buying the album. I'm happy about it.
And you were telling me before we started the interview, you got actual physical copies, not just the CDs and the vinyl, but man, you got some collectible cassette tapes. Come on.
Cassette USBs.
Come on. You're going to see this. You're going to see this on video and when we post it on the socials, man.
Cassette USBs, cassettes, CDs, and vinyls, all autographed. And we sell them at thecripstore.com, which is my website. And
cool.
I'm getting some MC8 albums. Because, you know, they want to sell from the Crip Store. And I just thought that was dope.
Ah, that's dope, man.
Some 8 albums.
Why not?
Getting some tradies, autograph albums. So at least, you know, we'll keep this thing going for the West.
That's beautiful, man. Keep the money rolling in.
There you go.
Well, and I know I just said that you got limited time and I was going to cut this short. But I just thought of something I had to bring up. I've always been a Glasses Malone fan.
Appreciate that.
But it wasn't until, I want to say maybe a year, maybe 2 ago, when I became a Glasses Malone super fan, when I heard you on Be Real's podcast and you were talking about WWE. I'm like, this dude's talking straight to my heart. This dude, man, I'm a huge WWE fan too. I'm like, man, I heard this dude talking about Jake the Snake and Stone Cold. I'm like, oh man.
Listen, we had a real childhood and we had really great entertainment, man.
Right?
So we was having some really dope conversations about the WWE. I didn't know that Be Real in them was so vested in it.
Yeah, me neither, man. I heard he was dropping names and he knew finishing moves.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. So we having conversations about, you know, the DDT, the stunner. It was funny. It was dope because it's Be Real.
Stunner was the best.
Yeah,
right.
Stunner's probably the greatest finisher.
Stunner, my son, right now.
That's dope. That's dope. And I'm sure he loves it every time.
Every time.
Every
time.
Come on,
Dad.
Oh, man, I just want to say I appreciate the time. And obviously, I appreciate the blood that's in this room and the magic that you made. Son of a legend, Player Ham, the LA Giants represented, man. I'm going to give you time, too. Shout out anyone you need to shout right now and let them know.
Just go get the album at the Crib Store and follow the LA Giants on IG, man.
Shout out to Joey Westside, man.
Shout out to my brother, Joey Westside.
Shout out to Ham.
Beautiful. My man, Glasses Malone in the building. Continued success. Much love, and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, brother.
This is Q97.1.